How is Prince Andrew still living like a billionaire when all the world around him has fallen apart? Let's be clear, this isn't just speculation. It's a financial mystery that just won't die. Here is a man stripped of his royal duties. A man disgraced in the court of public opinion. A man with no declared business empire, no visible career, and no obvious income beyond a modest military pension. And yet, he resides in one of the most prestigious royal residences in Britain. He enjoys round-the-clock staff, high-level security, private travel, elite real estate in Switzerland, and all the while living a lifestyle that 99% of people couldn't even dream about. So the question needs to be asked, where is the money? And why do the figures behind Prince Andrew's life simply not add up? Let's add it up. Officially, Andrew's sole verified regular income is his Royal Navy military pension, around $20,000 annually. Prior to stepping away from public life in 2019, he also earned around $249,000 per year for royal duties, paid for by the sovereign grant. But when he was compelled to leave public duties in the midst of scandal, that source of funding dried up. Any personal payment from the late Queen Elizabeth II? Never reported. Any bequest from the Queen Mother? Public records indicate none. So again, how is he living this lavish lifestyle? Because the size of it is huge. Prince Andrew's principal home, Royal Lodge, a vast 30-room mansion, occupies 40 hectares within Windsor Great Park. This is not some rural bolt hole. It's a palace worthy of monarchy. And definitely not the sort of residence that somebody on a $20K a year salary could possibly afford. In 2003, he negotiated a 75-year lease on Royal Lodge for $1 million, but with a catch. He undertook to finance millions in refurbishment himself. Accounts indicate that those works alone cost over $7.5 million. And then there's the Verbier luxury. Swiss chalet, bought in 2014 for $18 million, an alpine estate with views of mountains, full-time personnel, and the sort of price tag that leaves you asking, where did the money come from? And don't forget his private security expenses. His annual protection has been estimated at $3 million or more. Money that, reports say, King Charles no longer pays for. The arithmetic here doesn't merely fall short of balancing. It shouts for examination, and the scandals continue to mount. A leaked elite email surfaced, allegedly showing Andrew reassuring Jeffrey Epstein with the words, "We're in this together." Just one day after the now infamous photo of Andrew and 17-year-old Virginia Giuffre exploded across headlines. Each time a door appears to close on Andrew, another opens, usually one lined with luxury. So how is all of this funded? One explanation is his stint as the UK's Special Representative for International Trade, a post that provided him with intimate access to players in world power. Oil tycoons, overseas leaders, oligarchs with oil money. Andrew sat in rooms where billion-dollar deals were being made, and supposedly, he profited on those introductions. The Guardian revealed that in a campaign to assist British companies secure contracts in Kazakhstan, Andrew potentially put himself in line to receive up to 1% commissions. That would have seen one transaction pay him $4 million. And then there are the property maneuvers, not least his 2007 sale of Sunninghill, parked to the president's son-in-law. The cost? $15 million over market value. The purchaser? Never even took up residence. The optics? Extremely questionable. And that's not all. Rumors of offshore holdings, shadowy shell companies, and money kept out of the financial light. A network of trusts, investments, and go-betweens, many crafted by reports, to keep royal financial interests out of sight. Legal? Maybe. Transparent? Not remotely. And through it all, Prince Andrew lives on as if all this doesn't matter. No rent. No debt collection. No discernible financial strain. But this begs a tough reality. Are British taxpayers unwittingly paying for some of this lifestyle? Has the Crown Estate, intended for public service, looked the other way while Andrew has used royal land without oversight? These aren't merely questions of scandal, they are questions of integrity, of fairness, and of how far royal privilege can be pushed before it breaks under public indignation. So I'll ask you, as I do myself, should a man under the cloud of scandal, bereft of duty, and protected by silence continue to live like royalty, while the rest of Britain foots the bill? Leave your comments below. The story's far from over, and the next bombshell might be even bigger. If you're keeping up with this royal meltdown, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell, because what goes on behind the locked doors at Royal Lodge doesn't stay behind those doors for very long, as if losing her title wasn't bad enough. Sarah Ferguson is now seeing the fallout echo directly into the lives of her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. As per several palace sources, even their own finances have been put into question, with royal officials said to have quietly sent their investments and business affiliations for ethics screening to see if any of it traced back to their father's tainted business. It's an embarrassing situation for two women who've done everything properly but can't seem to outlive the shadow of their parents' infamous scandals. Royal commentator Ingrid Seward has even gone so far as to comment that relinquishing their titles might be the only means for the sisters to preserve their reputation, commenting that to do so would release them from being tarred with the same brush and enable them to establish separate lives. But, naturally, at an incredible emotional price. Beatrice and Eugenie grew up in privilege, brought up on the inside of a system which pays out privilege with titles and access to luxury and power. From an early age, they saw their parents make royal life a transaction machine, selling out on magazine covers, deals, and endorsement. They were sold to the media as babies for hundreds of thousands of pounds. And although Sarah Ferguson frequently referred to the need to encourage imagination and creativity, even citing her professional career as an author of children's books, the truth was that the York girls grew up within a palace of mass-market royalty. Years later, they got to experience the benefits themselves: lavish presents, jetting around the globe, meeting top businessmen, and royalty. But as we now understand, not every one of those associations was secure. Others, actually, were extremely risky. And though the sisters have both established prosperous adult lives, Beatrice in finance, Eugenie in the arts, the shadow of their family name still doggedly pursues them as a curse. Beatrice, who is now the chief executive of her own private equity company, has become well known in international investment circles, regularly jetting to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. Her company, BEQ, has grown exponentially, and she's frequently snapped socializing with royalty and economic officials at behind-closed-door summits. Eugenie, meanwhile, is a senior gallery director and a regular attendee at Middle Eastern philanthropic and cultural functions. The media still fetes them as contemporary royal women, even referring to them as the king's secret weapons on cover stories. But within the palace, tension builds. Because although the sisters open doors with their titles, those doors could one day turn into liabilities. The monarchy can't risk another scandal, and any foreign business affiliation or seeming conflict of interest would pull the crown right back into the mire. In the meantime, Sarah Ferguson is coming apart. Sources say she's barely holding on. Emotionally drained from a devastating bout with cancer, shunned by charities that once supported her, and embarrassed by the public humiliation of having her royal title stripped away. Her sister Jane has flown in from Australia to offer support, but people close to Sarah report that she's hardly eating, rarely ventures out of Royal Lodge, and spends all day crying. The woman who used to refer to herself as the Phoenix seems to have lost the will to get back on her feet. In the background, King Charles is reportedly doing what he can to protect Beatrice and Eugenie from their parents' devastation. But even that protection has boundaries. The York name is now regarded as poisonous within royal society. Sarah feels betrayed by Andrew for surrendering their titles without notice, by charities that cut them off amidst her scandal, and by a royal institution that once accepted her, but now seems to have sheared her off completely. Her daughters are said to be heartbroken, attempting to remain resolute for one another while struggling with the perpetual shame that now clings to their household. Insiders report that their tripod bond remains intact, but even their husbands are instructing them to keep their heads down and stay away from Royal Lodge, lest any association drag them down and taint their own reputations. Buckingham Palace, however, has left no doubt. There is going to be no going back. The Yorks are officially liabilities, and Charles is determined to defend the monarchy, not the reputation of a dysfunctional family unit. With the dust settled, Sarah is left grasping for the remnants of the life she once constructed. Her title is lost, her power fallen, her family broken. For years, she marked herself as the woman who always returned, but this time the ashes are more weighty. It might not be merely the end of her public persona, it might be when the York family is quietly lost to royal significance altogether.